And by the way, we're leading in Michigan by a lot. We're leading in Wisconsin by a lot. We're leading in Pennsylvania by a lot. But I'm not supposed to say that. Just forget it.
That's because you're not, because the votes haven't been counted and the early voting obviously is more democratic. What are you talking about, you deluded old fool? But look, his job is to project confidence, not as a reflection of how he feels, not as a reflection of the evidence, but to make sure that his base thinks we're gonna win. We're set to win. We have to win. Wait, we didn't win? Clearly 2,000 mules got involved. That's what this strategy actually is. And you can't expect him to be honest. But when you talk to other people, particularly those who don't have to go on the record, they can say what they really think. And last week, there was reporting saying that top Harris aides were starting to point the finger about why it is that they thought they were gonna lose. A couple days later, a joke or two later, and they're feeling a little bit more confident. And apparently Harris aides are growing more bullish on defeating Donald Trump for a few reasons. Now, don't get too confident, go vote literally right now, but there are some reasons why they feel this way. And we wanna talk about several of them. We're gonna start with CNN's Harry Enton talking about why the polls might perhaps be undercounting support for Harris.
The pollsters catch on, hey, we're underestimating, we're not taking into account some part of the electorate. They make adjustments, and I think that helps to explain why we have never seen that the same party has been underestimated 3 times in a row in presidential elections, at least over the last 52 years. If the idea is that maybe the pollsters have, in fact, been making adjustments, you might have seen it in 2022. And what did we see in 2022 in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin? Well, it turns out that the average poll in those states actually underestimated Democrats by 4 points. It underestimated Democrats by 4 points. And I want to apply that to the electoral map, because if it turns out that the polls underestimate Donald Trump, or underestimated the Democrats, like they did in 2022, what happens? Well, Kamala Harris wins a sweep because she wins all these Great Lake battleground states. She wins down in the Southeast and she wins down in the Southwest, and she gets the 319 electoral votes.
Notably, even if that were to happen, she still loses Texas. So everybody don't get too excited about that. But, and also bear in mind, if you follow Harry Enton through the course of 1 week, it is a roller coaster of emotions, because that guy seems to think, I think they just randomly tell him which candidate he's supposed to say is up or the evidence for it. And he goes so hard. And then the next day it goes so hard the other direction. But I do think that there's reason to believe that the polls could potentially be off, and not just in party ID, but in under acknowledging how enthusiastic women are about voting this time around. Because when you look at the actual data coming in North Carolina, we have North Carolina, Georgia, and Michigan. Women always vote at slightly higher rates than men. That's always the case. But in this case, of the early vote, it's like a 10-point gap in Georgia. It's like a 12-point gap in Michigan. It's an 11-point gap. That's not the sort of gap that we typically see. Now, maybe there's a thing about early voting that intersects with the gender divide. I don't know exactly why that would be. But anyway, some reason for confidence. Obviously, the news cycle has not been good for Donald Trump with the Puerto Rico thing, and particularly in Pennsylvania. But anyway, Brett, I know you were feeling a little bit more confident last Friday when we spoke. How are you feeling now?
I don't know what to think. All I know is one of the best things I've ever seen in my life was this CNN tent at the DNC watching Harry Enton and Michael Cohen talk. It was my favorite thing. It was just like, dude, sure. What a weird segment. Fine. The job of 24 hours is to fill it. So of 24-hour news is to fill it. So sure, great. I love it. So I guess my big thing right now, the only thing I thought was interesting during all of that was, like, Donald Trump is just a liar who has cracked the code of telling the same old damn lies and doing the same damn things that damn politicians do. He just does it in a more like Web 3.0 or 4.0 way. Like, every politician has lied to you, but when Donald Trump says, I'm leading by a lot, I'm leading by a lot here, I'm leading by a lot there, I'm leading by a lot everywhere. He's just doing the same kind of, I'm just a lying politician who tells you what you want to hear, but just in the language of the internet today. It has to be more intense. You can't start a YouTube video saying, all right, let's have a discussion about the nuances of these two things. You have to start it by saying, this is the most unexpected fact you will ever hear in your entire life. Stay with us. And that's what Donald Trump's entire discourse is.
Which is why he's always like, in numbers never seen before. Trump is clickbait, honestly. But anyway, yes. Look, okay, well, we'll see. We'll see. I think there's some good data. We'll see. Thanks for watching our video. Did you know that you can support our show by becoming a subscriber? Just click the subscribe button and also ring the bell so that you get notifications when we're live or when we post new content.